the yellow structures down there are roof scaffolds, so it makes it real safe and easy for us to roof.
That's great. That's great.
So there's 6 groups here. Each group has a designated color. That's the color is the stripe under the number. So you're down here in the red group. You'll be in Bay 19. That has a red stripe underneath it. Supposed to have 60 techs in here. We're not quite there. We need to hire a few more techs, but it should be about 60 techs.
Wow. So how long have you worked for Newmar?
I started in 03 in production.
So 23 years.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, been around a while. So the CPU process is going to be 16 hours of one-on-one with the Newmar certified tech.
Okay.
I personally, if I know you are previous owners.
Yeah.
But if we have to go over a little bit, that's fine. I want you to be comfortable with the coach. If you can't come here and figure things out, I don't know where you could go. So hopefully we'll do you justice here for coming here and be able to get you acquainted with the coach and work out any small things.
I know this guy.
Yep, you've had him before.
Oh, yeah, he did our Ventana.
Yeah, he's a good one. That's Tracy.
Yeah, Tracy.
Yep.
How are you, Tracy? Good to see you again.
See Randall and Sandra.
Blu-ray's sitting there. How about that?
Yeah. Nice to see you. So.
Okay, in we go. Wow. Oh, wow. Wow. Look at that. Wow. And preface is all get out. Wow. This is gorgeous. Look at this. Fantastic. They outdid themselves, Newmar did, that's for sure. Wow. So, I'm sitting here in Blueray now. We are many days, almost 3,000 miles into our little journey after picking up Blueray. And I wanted to just give kind of a summary of what I think of the overall process. So what was it like? It was 3 days of intensive learning from the fire hose. You had lots of information thrown at you. Even though I'd had a coach before, there's a lot of new information and some reiteration of old. Day 1 was with Tracy, who you met in this earlier clip. And he spent the day with us. And in fact, he found us, in fact, he was upset with himself for not catching it earlier, but he spent 2 weeks on that coach, on our coach, Blueray here, making sure everything was right. And, then after he found all the problems, he sent it back to the factory. And they, quote unquote, fixed it, and he missed a scratched sink. So the next day, he replaced the sink with a new sink. Day 2, we had a Freightliner rep, and I'll have a subsequent video here shortly. I'll put up with Steve, I believe, was the Freightliner rep that walked me through the chassis. He would have spent more time inside. He showed me a few pointers I didn't know about the interface, the OmniView interface that Freightliner has. But since I had a Ventana before and has the same interface, it was pretty clean, and he didn't need to show me a lot. But he walked me through a lot of the chassis. He spent probably half a day with me. And then we had Tracy for the rest of the day. And then the third day we did a test drive, and that was wonderful. I mean, it drove, has people told me, Newmars are guided, they're not driven. And that it's been that way for 3,000 miles. Now, since we picked up the coach, we have not had a single problem. Everything has worked flawlessly. There's been a couple incidents where we messed up. I mean, for example, one time I went out the step and I put my foot on the step while it was still going out. Well, that causes it to stop, thinking it's all the way out, and then of course it's only half out, and it's weird. And I thought, something's wrong. No, it's the way the steps work. As working by design, just don't mess up. Another time we inadvertently or by accident left the water. There's a recirculate water, the aqua hot they call it, or something like that, where you flip the switch and wait so that you conserve water. It will cycle around, pushing it back into the tank. heating the water till you get hot water, and then you flip it the other way and take your shower. Well, it got left in that mode, and that minute sat there and circulated the all night, circulated the water through the tank. So we had a hot water tank, a big 100-gallon hot water tank. But that was our problem. That's not anything wrong with the product. As far as would I do this again, in a heartbeat. I think it's the only way you should think about buying a new coach, as long as you can wait. I mean, the disadvantage is we had to wait 6 months. We turned in our old coach, and we were coachless, and there were several things we wanted to go to. The big rally out in Wyoming would have been nice to attend. There was a Florida State rally we couldn't attend because we didn't have a coach. That's the disadvantage. However, the payoff is worth it. I mean, being able to order. I mean, you've seen the clips of Blueray. It's beautiful inside. It's just everything we could have imagined and what we wanted. So we ended up with exactly what we wanted. And more importantly, I would always do the factory delivery. I know your dealer, if you ever do this, will say, oh, our PDI people are great, but they're not going to spend 2 weeks ahead of time going through and finding the problems and getting them fixed. They're not going to spend 3 days with you going through the coach, having the Freightliner rep or the Spartan rep come. Maybe the Spartan rep would come out as well too now, from what I understand. So basically, it's really, if you're going to buy a new coach and spend that type of money, it's the only way to go. And as far as expense goes, you'll get the best deal. And now you'll probably want to have at least 2 vendors, making sure they're aware that you're both giving them a bid so that they'll give you their best price. And the best price is going to be very close to each other. I mean, ours were $1,000 apart or something, and it wasn't the price that made me the decision. It was the trade-in. And so having 2 or 3 vendors involved, you'll get the best price you can possibly get, because the dealer does not have to take it onto his inventory. You pay up front. We paid $100,000 deposit because we have a solid blue coach, and no one likes these solid blue colors or these solid colors. They have to have the squirrels, and so they want an extra deposit. Normally it's a $50,000 deposit. And then you occasionally have to pay them more money, or they're paying Newmar through the deliverables, which means they have no risk. They have no floor plan usage of their credit with the bank. And so they're going to give you the best deal in order to get your business. And, I will go back to North Trails. I enjoy working with Kurt. He is the best sales guy. If you want to talk to somebody, Kurt Aldrin is just wonderful. And, he cares that you get what you want, and and what you can afford and what you need. So, he's really care to do that. He's careful to make sure that happens. So overall, this is the way to buy a coach, and I don't think I'd buy anything but Newmar, just because the quality they put in is just outstanding. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this leg. The next set of videos, I'll put one up shortly with Steve, the Freightliner guy, and going through the chassis. And then I'll start putting up some of the campgrounds you've seen. There's some interesting campgrounds, some that are really good, some that are interesting, challenging to get in and out of. That's one of the seems to be one of the most often things I hit is where, for a newer driver like myself, it's a bit of a challenge to get in some of these narrow roads, and you just go slow. Anyway, I hope to see you in the next video. If you like this video, or you like videos about RVs, especially campgrounds, which I'm just going to do quick campground reports, only a few minutes. There won't be any ads, no commercials. Go ahead and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button wherever it is on your computer screen, and you'll be notified when we put up another video. And anyway, thank you for watching.